Good morning, everybody. I'm sitting outside of one of my stops waiting for them to open in the beautiful Florida sunshine. I love the sun down here in Florida. It's a different kind of sun. It's a happy sun. But I'm kind of heavy-hearted this morning. You know, I'm an independent truck driver. I buy my own fuel. I get paid by whatever somebody will pay me to haul a load. Now, the same thing happened when the Biden fuel crisis went on. The fuel goes through the ceiling, but the rates drop. I don't understand that. I don't really know, what does that and why it causes everything to be so expensive, because actually those of us who are hauling the freight are doing it for less. But since this war in Iran started, I'm spending about $800 to $900 a week more on fuel and not getting paid any more to do it. So that's it's killing me. It's breaking me here. But I'll do it for as long as I got to, because this war needed to happen. And those of us who still have a brain that functions properly, which sometimes I got to admit we are becoming an endangered species, just go back and look at the videos of those planes flying into the towers, or those towers coming down on all those people and those first responders. Look at the 400 hostages in Iran when that whole thing started. Or how about just October 7th? I mean, you don't have to dig far and deep to find where these people have been hijacking and ransoming the world for a long time. These radicals that I don't even know how they can say they believe in a God with the stuff that they do, public executions and the way they treat women and all this stuff. And here's what's bothering me. They're not what's bothering me. There's always been crazy people in this world. There's always been fanatics, and there's always been unreasonable, unrighteous, always. What's bothering me right now is these so-called Americans who are filling their heads with the lies of the mainstream media. And you know they're lies. You know they're lies. You know you're being fed a trunk full of junk. And, we'll stay up and watch these late night comedians who just feed hatred and animosity and division. I heard a girl the other day saying, hey, we gave you the coordinates of the White House, Iran. Why haven't you blown the White House up? Why haven't you killed our president yet? That kind of stuff, that's treasonous. And it used to get you killed. It used to get you executed. And you think that this is a Nazi fascist regime that's going on right now? No, you couldn't be any dumber. Really, that's stupid. Stupid is a choice. So I should say you couldn't be any stupider, because if that were true, you wouldn't be getting on videos and making those kind of videos in fear that somebody's going to knock your door down, drag you out in the street, and publicly execute you for what you said. I'm all for free speech, y'all. I'm all for it. It's one of the things that makes us a country. But I got free speech too. And I have worked myself to an early grave, a straight, white, middle-class male. There has been no entitlement in my life. My dad left when I was young. My mom was working when women didn't work and make any money. And I went, listen folks, this is a true story. I'm not exaggerating this. I was working 7 nights and Saturdays and Sundays every week. I did that for 10 years. 80 hours a week I worked as a young man. I was free Monday through Friday, so I went to school. I paid my way through school, and I went to school. So after my degree was in collision repair and refinishing. I loved working on cars. My dream was to restore old cars for a living. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to work that 80-hour-a-week job forever. It was already taking its toll on me in my 20s. It was just too much. But I was working in the afternoons after school in my garage, restoring old trucks for guys that worked where I worked, and was doing great at it. I loved it. I loved it. It's still to this day one of my favorite things is fixing up an old car. I don't get to anymore because I work too much, but it was one of my favorite things to do. So I went and applied for an SBA loan. Now, an SBA loan is a government-backed business loan. It's supposed to be lower interest. Now, listen, I was making in 1984 and 85, I was making about $1,500 a week. Working myself to death to do it, But in today's dollars, that's like $5,000 or $6,000 a week. I was making great money, but I was killing myself doing it. My wife and I were young. We were starting a family. We had 4 kids. I was being taxed to death, and went to get this loan. And the bank officer looked at me and said, "Don't waste your time. You're the wrong color and the wrong gender. You will never get an SBA loan." And I stood there kind of dumb. It's like, what? I work nights so I can keep working nights even after I start this body shop. I make good money. I have perfect credit. And you're telling me I can't get a low interest government backed business loan? Now I met a guy who he was Hispanic and a felon, and they were offering him $25,000 to start his own business. Hispanic and a felon. Now hey, that's great. That's great. Let's help him. Let's help him stay out of prison. Let's do what we got to do. That's what the system is for. But since when did we start demonizing the straight middle class white male? I mean, why does everybody think that we've got privilege? I mean, if you came from wealth, you might have privilege. You know, maybe, I don't know, maybe you won the lottery, you might have privilege, but have any of us straight white middle class males had to work any less harder for our money? I don't understand. And is the devil, is he a straight white middle class male? No, I don't think so. So what's going on in our country right now? Well, it's not rocket science, y'all. You are what you eat. You are. If you're going to take in all this poison that's coming in through the mainstream media and through these talking heads on platforms like this, and you're going to take that as gospel and not use your brain for what God gave it to you for, then this is what happens. We end up with a country full of Karens and entitled people. Remember the old movie Escape from New York? I'm thinking maybe that's what we need to do. We need to make New York the place where we send all the people who hate America. You know, because, you know, they all talk they want to move. They want to go someplace else. But we're not stupid. We already know you don't want to do that. And we already know you know better than that. You're just looking for a platform to draw attention to yourself because you're a narcissist. And that's another big thing nowadays. Have we ever seen such a rise in narcissism? It's like, what are we teaching it in schools now? Where is this coming from? So this morning, I'm not being the nice, you know, velvet gloved Christian man. What I'm trying to do is hit everyone in the face with some truth. Here's some truth. Go see A Great Awakening. Look at some of the stuff that happened in the early days of our country. Do your homework. You know, they used to teach history in school, real history in school. And how about researching some of these countries that you're so eager to run to? Again, I don't think you're that stupid. I really don't. I don't think those people are that dumb that they think that you'd be better off in Iran. So why are you doing? And these politicians, y'all, listen, Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter. You got no business voting for people who are not good people. You got to be a good person if you want to lead a good nation. It's just that way. I heard a guy once say that the philosophy in the classroom today is the philosophy of government tomorrow. Well, let's follow through and start fixing that. You know, God in his omnipotent, omniscient understanding, he fixed this problem a long time ago. It's called consequences. That's what it's called. The deterrent for doing wrong things and being bad is consequences. And I think that's pretty much the root of our problem here in our culture. We have eliminated consequences. If you want to talk trash about America, leave America. Nobody's stopping you. Heck, I'll buy you a plane ticket. I mean, if we're gonna be, you know, giving away money to all these special interest causes, let's start a new fund for deporting people who hate America. You don't have to be here. Nobody's forcing you to be here, but you are here, and you're here by choice, and you're here because you want to be. And I just got 2 words: shut up. If you haven't got anything nice to say, shut up. If you don't like the way things are, leave. And let's stop electing officials who are bad people. Now, I know anybody watching videos from the liberal perspective say, well, you know, our government now are bad people. Well, are they really? All right, they're opening up. I gotta go. Love y'all. Bye.